And welcome back to Dr. Gina Prime Time. Now, this GameStop saga we keep hearing about, it's still in the headlines today, and that tells you it's a big story, even though the White House doesn't want to talk about it. Daily Mail reports that GameStop shares were up 113% today, and now that the folks that run Robinhood app were kind enough to allow we little folks to start buying the stock again, we're going to keep talking about it too. Here to discuss, financial advisor Bob Rubin back with us tonight. Bob, thank you so much for coming back.
My pleasure.
Bob, how can a trading app like Robinhood, I think this is what people really want to understand. It feels a lot like when big tech just decides to have a purge and takes people off of Twitter or removes followers. You know, I've lost more than 100,000 followers on Twitter, hundreds of thousands across all of my platforms. And I think we feel like, you know, when big tech does this to us, that it's just accepted. And now we feel like it's going into the financial sector. So how can they stop people from just trading?
Well, unfortunately they can. They actually today, as of 3:45, Robinhood announced that they've put trading restrictions on 50 different stocks. I don't know how they can do it, but I think in this post-Trump presidency, the attempted sabotage of the trading platforms is part of the trend of the collapse of the American institutions. I think during Trump, we thought that our nation was kind of like about free speech and free markets and that Donald Trump would help with that. But now we see from the actions of the large institutions and from the complicity and action of the Biden administration, they're going after the little guy. And they're doing this by shutting down the trading platforms like Robinhood, Webull, Financial, E-Trade, Interactive Brokers. And it's clear that they're attacking the free market system, just like they attacked the election system.
So where does that leave folks? I mean, are there a lot of other apps out there like them that offer the same kinds of services? Or can you hire just a private stockbroker even if you're a small-time trader?
Well, there are other companies out there. They went after some of the bigger ones, but you can obviously still trade on Fidelity. You can trade on Schwab. There's other companies that you can trade on. You know, it's kind of ironic, really, that the big brokers like, you know, Fidelity and Schwab, which eliminated stock commissions, which kind of started this whole process of democratizing the investing world by reducing the cost of commissions to basically, you know, for the little guy to basically zero. And they all thought it was free, but it really wasn't. But at the same time, all this online investing forums like Reddit's, was it Wall Street Bets, and others, they grew from a few thousand people to millions. And I guess you add that to the internet reducing the cost of the quality information, you know, getting investing information. And it basically allowed people to trade and profit from it. Well, I guess that was all good as long as people behaved themselves. The little guy, he couldn't do that. And, you know, he came along GameStop and BlackBerry and AMC, and now they're trading silver. It caused such a short squeeze that it allows the little guys to go after the hedges and win. Well, I guess that's when the investing oligarchs said, no more of this bad behavior. Don't do that. And, you know, they said to us, who are you allowed to, you know, we have this rigged game to allow you to play, and you can win every once in a while, but other than that, you have to just be in your place and lose the money. So, yeah, they can go to Fidelity and Schwab, but they have definitely made it harder, and they've really made it difficult for the little guy, which had access to all this information when he actually was winning, to really slam down and do something about it. And, you know,
very frustrating. Yeah.
It is frustrating.
I want to move on because I want to talk for a moment about, you know, the cause, because the cause is just as important as the effect. Janet Yellen, Biden's Treasury Secretary, has a bizarre entanglement here, which is almost predictable. She gave quote-unquote speeches to the company that bailed out the hedge fund that lost millions by betting against GameStop. So how can we trust someone like her to run, then, the Treasury Department?
You know, the fact that Treasury Secretary Yellen, who, as you stated, received almost $800,000 of speaking fees from Citadel, and that the Biden administration has not commented as what's going on, despite being asked multiple times by their own mainstream media. I think that just shines a bright light on the hypocrisy and inherent conflicts that are in Washington. And it just makes it harder for the little guy to do something about it. And, you know, frankly, Gina, I don't think that the hypocrisy stops in Washington. Even Robinhood, the supposed savior of the little guy, is also full of it. I mean, Robinhood's CEO appeared on CNBC, BBC, and CNN, and he says they have no liquidity problem. They have plenty of money. All this is going to be okay. And 2 hours later, he raises $1 billion from all these same hedge funds. So there's conflicts and hypocrisy in Washington and on Wall Street.
Yeah. Well, it really is frustrating for, for the person who's just trying to, most people that, engage in the stock market that this affects are the kind of people who have, other jobs outside of their stock investments.
Correct.
And are, this is something they do casually. They're not completely informed on every single, budge of the market. And so there's a lot of study to do. And so they count on, these apps are easy. They draw you in, I can tell you. They give you free stocks when you refer people. I know this. Then instead of just handing you the free stock, they do this little bingo looking scratch off game that lures you in and makes you feel like you might win big, when you really usually get, $1 or $2 in stocks, But so this is the kind of games they play, and they're very flashy, and people, that's very appealing, especially to the younger generation and whatever, where those of us who've been investing a long time might go through a more established group, like you mentioned, Schwab or some of the others earlier, but they're not as flashy. And I don't even know, I guess they probably have apps, but I can absolutely almost guarantee their apps don't look like the Robinhood app looks. It's fun to use. It's flashy. It has games. It has all that stuff. And so you just wonder what's going to happen. Do you think that the private sector is going to come in? Because so far with big tech anyway, they've struggled to find, and even when they did find answers to other social media, they just immediately tear them down. So do you think that the private sector will come up with answers that look and feel fun to trade on, like Robinhood, for that Robinhood style, almost social media style day trader?
Well, I mean, I actually downloaded the Robinhood app last weekend to look at what this was all about, and I was actually quite shocked that it was so game-like, Vegas-like. I mean, like online betting, almost like. It was like,
yeah,
this is crazy. And we're a Schwab shop, so we do everything through Charles Schwab. And I have the app. I have the Charles Schwab app on my phone, and it's full of good information. It makes it very easy for you. It's not fun. But I mean, I want to make money. This is about making money, right?
And Bob, forgive me, and I don't mean to interrupt you. I want to go back to that because I really want consumers to understand, because this is for real people. I don't necessarily mean fun. I'm really more talking about user friendly. If you're on Twitter every day and you're on Instagram, some of these habits you have of using your phone, and I'm one of these people, it just comes naturally. And I have investments with Schwab too, and I go on to the Schwab site, and it's harder for me to use it, I'm not going to lie, than for example, the Robinhood app. So my question is, do you think that they will update some of these, the other companies, to try to attract some of that audience? That's my question.
They probably will. I mean, that's a really good question, and it's a difficult answer because on one hand, you want to say, hey, they probably will do that, and maybe they should do it because you want to attract a younger audience to trading and learn what stocks are about, and mutual funds and exchange traded funds and all the things that people should know about, because it's that brings up the whole issue of financial literacy, or the lack of financial literacy that they learn in the current education system. But on the other side of that question, or the other side of the answer, is that should it really be made that easy that you can just so easily, that they're sucking you into to press that button to buy that one stock, when you really should take 5 more minutes and really think about it? Does this really make sense? Yes, I realize Schwab could sometimes be a little bit more difficult to use, and compared to a lot of them, it's actually quite much easier than a lot of them that are out there. But you should still take that time to look at the information to make sure that the P ratio and all the different things that you should know about, I'm not going to throw all those terms out there, but that it's a good stock and it has good prospects to go up in value. I mean, the reality is that when you take a stock like GameStop, which today went up $131.40, when it was a $6 stock 2 weeks ago. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. You got to just stay away from stuff like that. Yet on the other hand, people are making millions of dollars on it. But Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
but
lot
it
of
can be so
volatility.
volatile. You're right, and people do need to research and get advice on that kind of stuff, and that's very sound advice. Almost sound like you do this for a living. Bob Rubin, thank you so much for being with us. We're out of time, but we appreciate you being with us again. Thank you.
Thank you.